What's going on, y'all? We are back. The Wrestling Heroes and Insiders Podcast, aka the Whip Show on 106.1 FM, WAKT Toledo's community radio station. And right now, I normally would say his name and he appears, but we've been saying his name for the last 2 years. You know who it is. It is Joe Hendry. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing even better with that awesome introduction. So thank you so much. I'm
Not
doing
a
good.
problem at all, man. Not a problem at all. And Joe, thank you for coming on the show, man. And you guys you got another big show coming up in Pittsburgh, the
We do
UPMC
indeed.
Arena on June 20th and the 21st, correct?
That's right. We got it on Friday and Saturday. Going to be a huge event for TNA Wrestling at UPMC Event Center.
Now, Joe, thank you again for coming. I know you've been going all over the world, man, and you've been doing wrestling shows, Comic Cons, pretty much everything. They can't get enough of you, bro. And you've been the forefront for TNA for like the last 2, 3 years. How does that feel, man? You're representing that brand perfectly.
Thank you, my friend. It feels great. It would feel a lot better if I had the TNA World Championship instead of Trick Williams. But I agree with you. I have genuinely been doing everything that I can do to help TNA get to that next level. There's a lot of us who are working super hard to continue that journey. The ascension that this company has been on has been unprecedented. We're doing huge shows. We've got huge names coming in. It's a very exciting time for TNA
Now, see, Joe, why did you go there already, man? I was going to try to slide into
wrestling.
that segue. I was trying to pump you up first, man, but I got to go there since you did. You talked about it. Trick Williams. He's even calling it Trick and A now.
Yeah,
When you
I
were
mean,
in that
look,
match,
look, Trick is a talented guy. He's got a lot of charisma, but I'll tell you something. Whoever came up with that Trick NA tagline has to go back to the drawing board because that is terrible. Have you ever in your life heard someone say Trick NA when they weren't forced to? And it's never happened. It's never happened.
very
Trick
true,
NA?
very true.
What is that? Who
I
who
agree, man.
sat down and said that's the one? Trick NA, that's the one. Let's get that on some t-shirts.
Man, man. But I want to take you back to that match, man. You're in there, you're battling for the honor of TNA, and like we all know, you did come up short on that one. What was going through your mind at that moment?
Um, well, my head had just collided with the championship and I was pinned. It was embarrassing. It was heartbreaking, to be honest, to be the one that dropped the ball, really. To be, I had the TNA championship. I was taking all these risks. I was doing all these, who were these big moves, wrestled Randy Orton at WrestleMania and to main event Battleground with Trick. It was huge. I thought that was going to take the title to the next level, and it did not go our way that evening. So I now have to do everything that I can do to redeem myself and bring the championship back to TNA Wrestling because I don't know how much more I can tolerate here in Trick NA.
I get it, man. I get it. Now, I want to talk about that as well, man. So before that, we knew you had a shoulder injury that you were kind of trying to hide a little bit. But have you really had a chance to sit back and recharge since that match?
No, I've it's been all go for me for a year. And to be honest with you, the whole shoulder situation, the facts are I've never missed a day of work. So you know what? Take it for what you will. But ultimately, I really do take pride in being a workhorse for TNA wrestling. And yeah, I've been pretty much all go on the road for multiple companies since this whole wave of popularity kicked off. And this has been a stumbling block, but I want to get the championship back, and I want the ascension of TNA wrestling to continue.
I love to hear that, man. Now, Nick Nemeth was on this very show, him and his
Yeah,
brother Ryan, but we don't talk about
yeah,
Ryan. We don't talk about Ryan. But with Nick
okay,
Nemeth,
yeah,
he was on
yeah.
this very show, and he said he wanted to have a talk with you and pull the locker room together because he felt
Yeah.
like you let everybody down. How do you
Well,
respond to
if anyone in the locker room thinks they have the balls to force me to do a wrestler's court, then, please go ahead because any of them would have done what I did. I was trying to take TNA wrestling to a new level. I was trying to bring new eyes to the product. I did it with the best of intentions. And I'll be honest, if we're going to talk about wrestlers court, there's a long line of people who will be showing up before me.
I get it. I get it, man. I get it. Now you talk about Trick Williams and what's going on over there. He even aligned with the first class, man. AJ Francis and Navarro, man. Now we know you had problems with them in the past. How does that feel seeing somebody from TNA ride with somebody from NXT?
It feels awful, quite frankly. The fact that anytime anything goes well for AJ Francis, it just creates this sense of dread within me. So for him to be in any way associated with the person who took the championship away, to say it's painful would be an understatement.
I get it. I get it, man. Now, Joe, I mean, we got to go. We got a deep dive here.
All right, let's do it.
Ever since then, man, people have been saying it maybe it's Mike Santana's time, maybe it's Elijah's time, and they're almost trying to put Joe Hendry, who's been doing the thing for years, on the back burner. What do you say to those people?
People can say that all they want, but what you have to do is look at the facts and the figures and the metrics. And that's something that I learned from hearing John Cena talk about when he was receiving, different reactions at events. And he said the advice that he got was to pay attention to the metrics. What are the ticket sales like? How much merchandise are you doing? Nowadays, what views are your posts getting? What kind of following do you have? And people can chatter all they want, but my statistics are absolutely undeniable.
I get it, man. Now, one of the last few questions I want to ask is this. Another thing has been talked about, little scuttlebutt, if you will. They've been trying to say, because you just talked about the metrics, merchandise sales, and working at other promotions, you might not be as focused on TNA as you should be. What would you say to that?
Um, I would ask you to be specific.
I've
What
actually,
specifically, why would anyone think that I'm not focused on TNA based on the business that I've generated for this company over the last years?
and I'm glad you said that because what I've been hearing was people saying that they think that you're worried about just being a superstar professional athlete and being one of the world's greatest entertainers, but not actually putting TNA with you. So making Joe Hendry above TNA.
I don't think it's about saying, oh, well, this is above that or anything like that. I think that, again, you have to look at the facts and the figures. What member of the TNA roster is the one that's out that's doing the media tours? Who is staying till crazy times at night to do the meet and greets, to shake hands with every single fan that wants to meet us after those shows take place? That's what people don't see. People don't see the fact that I do until yesterday I hadn't been to bed since Thursday to make sure I could represent TNA wrestling at AAA. So people can say all they want about me not putting the company first or whatever, but if you want to get down to the actual brass tacks of what it is, I'm the one that's out here on the road and doing the work for this company. So that's what I think of
Do y'all hear that this man is telling you what it is? That's why we love Joe Hendry. That's why we believe.
it.
Yo, Joe, my last question is this, man. After this big event in Pittsburgh, it's time for the road to Slammiversary. What is Joe Hendry's path? What is his road to Slammiversary, man?
At this point, I don't know is the answer. All I can say is that I will take every opportunity that I can get to reinsert myself back into the world title picture. Not just because I think it's best for me, but also because it's what's best for TNA wrestling. You're getting me fired up here.
I'm glad I am. That's the Joe Hendry I want, bro. That's the Joe Hendry we all want, man. But
That's the
Joe,
Joe Hendry TNA needs.
absolutely, man. Before we get out of here, we want to change it up just a little bit. I do a segment called the Mark Out Moment, and it's really simple. It's not saying that you go screaming like a little child or whatever, but even though you are Joe Hendry who has been all over the world, that one moment you're like, dang, even though I am Joe Hendry, I can't believe I'm in this moment, or I was at the airport and this person knows who I am. Have you ever had a moment like that, Joe?
Um, I mean, it's funny sometimes because when you're younger and you have dreams that seem so real. Like
Mm-hmm.
for me, I remember, uh I'd have a dream where it'd be like, oh, I dreamt I had a Nintendo 64, and then I'd wake up and go, oh, it wasn't real, but it felt so real. I'd have the same thing about, meeting various people or whatever. And there's some days I have to go and I'm like, did I just wrestle at WrestleMania? Did I just have a world title match at Bound for Glory? Did I just do the Royal Rumble? Like, did I just get, what I mean? There's so many things happen where I kind of wake up. I remember even the first time I won the Digital Media Championship, I remember having to be like, is this actually happening? And I'm glad that you've mentioned that, because when you get into these high pressure situations, you're talking about world championships, you're talking about people questioning what you bring to the table. You get stressed, you get, you know, irritated with incorrect narratives that are out there. But it's good to take moments like that to just go, you know what? Like, I've been pretty fortunate with the opportunities. I've done my best to move forward with them, but I've been pretty fortunate to get all the opportunities that I've had. So thank you for that reminder.
Love to hear that, Joe. Joe, I want to say thank you for your time, man. It's been a pleasure as always. Do what you do. We always believe in Joe Hendry. And we need some more music, dog. We need you to get back on the charts again, man. Come on.
All right, let me have a think about it. Maybe there's an album that needs
All
to be
right, man.
released.
Take care
All
of
right,
yourself. And
all
you
right.
guys, thank you for locking in right here with the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders Podcast on 106.1 FM, WAKT, Toledo's community radio station.
Thank you, my friend.